How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. Now, on today's show, we're going to be talking about Gabriel Jesus. Of course, he's had his knee surgery, and as usual, some Arsenal fans are overreacting.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to DT's Daily. That's right.
So, of course, we're going to be talking about Gabriel Jesus, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory what we're going to be talking about. Not just the injury, the operation that he's had and everything else, but as usual, the overreaction by some Arsenal fans. Now, I'm going to break it down as to why you do not need to be so reactionary, why you do not need to overreact, because the reality is that Gabriel Jesus is probably only going to miss about 6 games. 6 games is all he's going to miss, around about that mark. But yet some people are reacting as though we've lost him for the whole season. Some people are reacting like, we need to go out and buy a striker immediately. We need Mbappe. We need all these. Come on. Really? I've been guilty of overreacting in the past. I've been guilty of being reactionary, seeing a story immediately and going, right, I need to go and say something now. No. Come on. Seriously? I all understand the sentiment behind it. We've lost Gabriel Jesus and it's like, oh, no, why does this have to, always happen to us? He's so important to the way that we're playing. But let's look at the reality here. All right, let's look at the reality. The injury that he suffered, it's an MCL injury in his knee. He's had surgery. It's around about 9-10 weeks he's going to be out for. All right, that's the reality of it. Granit Xhaka had the same injury and was out for 70 days. And his was a little bit more complicated because there was a fracture of the bone involved as well, which is why it's a little bit longer. Jesus will be back within 9-10 weeks, maybe even sooner. Give it that kind of figure. But I'm looking at that and I'm saying, right, let's look at this logically, because straight away people are like, 3 months, 4 months, oh my God, life is over. We've lost him for this long. We need a striker. We need to buy someone immediately. No, you don't. The reality is that Arsenal are not going to go out and buy a striker to replace Jesus. It's not going to happen, whether you like it or not. They've just given a new contract to nketiah. He's on 100 grand a week. They are not going to go and buy a striker for what is effectively 4 games. Why do I say 4? Well, let's look at this logically here. We have 2 games before the transfer window even opens. So there's nothing that the club can do anyway. We've got West Ham on Boxing Day, and then we've got Brighton before the year ends. So there's nothing that we can do anyway. So when you look at the games after that and before his scheduled return, 4 games. 4. You want Arsenal to go out and spend loads of money for 4 games? Do you actually think about what you're saying before you say it? Do you actually look at the actual bigger picture before you start talking? Or do you just deliberately go out there and start throwing it around and saying, we need this, we need that, we need... Come on, like I told you, I've been guilty of this myself in the past. There's one thing that I've learned a hell of a lot lately. It's like, don't be reactionary. Don't look at a title or look at a headline and instantly think, okay, that's it. Because that's what some people do. They look at a title and they go, I'm going to react to that. You don't look at the facts. You don't look at what is actually going on inside. And that is the reality. Let's have a look at this now, right? So we're going to the fixtures, for example. Now, we have got some big fixtures in January, and it's going to be a big miss. Regardless, it doesn't matter. You could be playing, someone in League 1, 2, Vauxhall Conference, whatever it might be. Gabriel Jesus will still be a miss. He's a massive player for us. But we need to get on with it. Stop with all this, we need to go and buy a striker. It's not going to happen. All right? So like I said, we've got West Ham and Brighton before the year ends. And then when we go into January, we've got Newcastle at home. Going to be a tough game. Newcastle having a brilliant season. We've then got Oxford United in the FA Cup. Let's write that game off. Jesus wouldn't have been playing in that game anyway. So there's a game wiped out already. We then, of course, got the North London derby. big game away to Spurs, and that will be a miss. And then at home to Manchester United, another big game. And then we got Everton, and those are likely going to be the games that he misses. Everton, Man United, Spurs, Newcastle, and then you've obviously got the Brighton and the West Ham games. 6 games that he could potentially be missing. And you're looking at around about the Brentford game at home on the 11th of February when he should, if all goes well, be returning. Worst case could be the Manchester City game on the 15th of February. If you look at the timeline, you know, and one of the things that I think people are forgetting as well is that he had his surgery at the start of the week. All right, so by the time we play a game this month, nearly 4 weeks of his recovery would have already gone. You know, we're in this, I'd say, luxury position in some respects where we've got no football until Boxing Day. So 4 weeks of Jesus' recovery, Arsenal ain't playing. Whereas normally, at this time of the year, you know, we got games coming thick and fast and Jesus would be missing throughout. 4 weeks of his 9-10 week recovery, there's no games. There's nothing. So 5-6 weeks of recovery are the games that he's going to be missing. And like I said, you look at Granit Xhaka, prime example of, you know, the kind of delay and how long it would take with this kind of injury. It's not an ACL. It's not going to be out for 9 months. Pretty straightforward, pretty routine. And like I said, with all the medical advances and everything that goes on at the club now and everything, you're looking at that and you're thinking to yourself, okay, cool. It's like, that's where it's going to be. But again, people are just reacting all the time. And I see it all over social media. I see it on YouTube. I see it everywhere. And it's like, we need a striker. We need one immediately. What are we going to do? Come on. Really? These things happen. It's part and parcel of football. You might as well just deal with it. Like I said, we're not losing him for the rest of the season. When you look at the cold facts, the cold light of day, and you look at it in reality with a clear mind. First 4 weeks of his recovery, we're not even playing. We've got Oxford United in there in the FA Cup. He's not going to be involved. You're talking about 6 games. Yes, it's a loss. Okay. But I'm on about the reaction. People are talking as though we've lost him for the season. People are talking as though that's it. It's crumbled. The world has ended. Life is over as we know it. No, it isn't. It's really not. There's bigger things going on in the world. What are you worrying for, man? Seriously. I'm honestly not worried about it. I'm looking at it. I'm saying, right, you know what? It's an opportunity for Eddie. You know, do I think that Eddie's the answer? No. Do I think that he's going to be able to replace Jesus and bring that level? No. But you've got to go and, you know, go with it. You know, and this is something that I would like you to all do as Arsenal fans. I know this is going to be really, really, really difficult to listen to. And I know that this is going to be really, really tough. You know, what I'm going to say to you now. But just maybe, we should support him. Maybe we should actually encourage him and get on his side. And I know this is a really, 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 you know, tough one for you to listen to. And I know this is really outside of the box here. But maybe, just maybe, we should give him an opportunity. Maybe we should just say, okay, it might not be the answer and it might not be what we want, but let's support him. I know that's really difficult to hear. I know it is, but yeah, maybe we should just support Eddie Nketiah and see what happens. Who knew, hey? Seriously, oh man. Listen, I think it's part and parcel of football. I think these are some of the things that we expect that, you know, people will be reactionary. And like I've said, some might, you know, say that I've got a nerve sitting there and being reactionary about things or talking about reactionary things when I've done it myself. But it's very different when you walk out of a stadium. You know, you've just been beaten 5-1 in Munich or something like that, or the embarrassment at Liverpool, you know, right at the start of a season, and you get a microphone thrust in your face and you've been told, right, give me your thoughts. You have no time to react or no time to actually think, and it's raw emotion. But these kind of things, when the news breaks and that, you have that opportunity to sit there and think about it. You know, before you go and put something on social media, before you go and press record on your camera or whatever. And this is the thing, we are very reactionary. And I think this is fans across the board, not just Arsenal fans. It's just, you know, and that's the thing. We're not going to go and sign a striker. It's not going to happen, not logically, because of the games that we've got left. We're going to miss him for about 6 games, like I've stated 100 times already. So the reality is Arsenal are not going to go out and get a striker. You've got Eddie. You could bring Martinelli into that role as well. Who knows how it's going to pan out? And we could be sitting there at the end of January going into February with Jesus about to return, and we could be still in a very, very good position. We're very fortunate that we're already top of the league and 5 points clear anyway. So we've got a bit of a buffer there. And, you know, teams are playing catch up with us. We're not playing catch up with them. Let's remember that as well. So, you know, I think we've got everything in our favour. Let's not panic. All right, let's not worry. If going into February, we ain't won any games in January and stuff, then we might be able to sit and worry. But right now, no, don't be overreactionary. Let's look at it for what it is. He's got an injury. He's under the best care. He's getting the best treatment. He's had his operation already. He's losing 4 weeks of that recovery where we're not even playing, which is a massive bonus. And he's going to miss about 5-6 weeks. Might even be sooner than that. So about 6 games. 2 of those 6 games, Arsenal can't do anything about in the transfer window, even if they wanted to. So you're talking about 4 games, and you're talking about Arsenal going out and buying strikers, and it's not gonna happen. Be real. It's as simple as that. So there we go. That is all I have to really say on the situation regarding Gabriel Jesus. As usual, let me know in the comment section what you think. Do you agree, disagree? Are you having a meltdown? Or are you, like me, quite calm and relaxed about it and just, let's deal with it? Mikel Arteta has a plan. Trust the man. It's as simple as that. And I wasn't supposed to make that rhyme either, but anyway. Listen, if you're new around here, hit the subscribe button, smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot very, very, very soon. I'm out of here.